Right, welcome back. The Junior Springboks are targeting their second victory at the World Rugby Under 20 Championship. South Africa take on Italy in Pool C following a hard-fought win over Georgia in the opening encounter on Saturday. eNCA sports reporter Justin Ford joins us now from today's match venue at Boks Gymnasium. Justin, first of all, hi. Just what learnings do they take from that hard-fought victory over Georgia on Saturday?
Yeah, good afternoon, Cloney. From a very cold and wet, rain has definitely come down now at the Boks Gymnasium sports facilities. But talking about that Georgia match, you know, the team feels that they let themselves down. They only have themselves to blame for that 33-23 victory. Yes, it was a victory, but it wasn't pretty. They felt that they let themselves down when it came to the physical nature of the game, as well as the set pieces, and also potentially calling it moving away from the system that they've trained for from April this year already. So that in itself is things that they would want to set straight this time around, and hopefully they have done that in the short space of time, short turnaround time. They last played on Saturday, today being Thursday, that they can turn those things around and really be ready to face a strong Italian team.
What has Bafana Nhlako said just about going into this match against Italy and what they do need to work on, Justin?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it was important for him to speak to his team to make sure that they continue to learn. A lot of these boys, it's a brand new experience for them, and with regards to those learnings, it has to be the fact that the Italians will be strong. It's a physical team. I watched them play against Argentina on Saturday. They did have a man down very early in the game, but still was able to bring the game to the Argentinians. So I think physicality is going to be important to be able to match them up front, and I think, you know, ball retention is going to be important. These wet conditions, it's going to make for a tough match. We just watched the end of the the New Zealand-France game. You know, the boys walking off the field absolutely drenched. So with that being said, they know that they need to do what is possible in order to make sure that they come up, you know, on top of the Italian team today.
I know that the European team certainly had the Six Nations that they were playing. Just in terms of that, South Africa's team from Saturday, 16 of those players of the matchday squad was uncapped. Just how are they kind of balancing the fact that this is a very youthful team, but they are having to play elite or professional rugby at 18, 19, 20 years of age?
Absolutely. So the EPD program that SA Rugby is very proud of, they call it the Elite Player Development Program, is something where they start watching young boys at the ages of under 15, under 16 already. And with the pandemic, early 2020, it really, as Rassie Erasmus had mentioned as well, started the progress of these players. These players didn't get to play in their matric year. There was no rugby for them to play at all. So with that being said, they would have not have been able to do that. So that process and that player development was a bit stuttered. But with that being said, they were able to play in the summer series against some of the Six Nations teams last year, and they came out on top. So I think that's what's important. So these players, some of them have that experience, but on Saturday, as you mentioned, 16 of them did not play for the Junior Boks team at all before. But, you know, hopefully that experience of playing in front of a strong South African crowd is important today. Full house expected, sold out in terms of crowd attendance despite the weather. Hopefully those things will stand them in good stead, that these players can grow from it, and hopefully from here on out, you know, get to unions, be able to play Currie Cup rugby, and ultimately United Rugby Championship, Heineken Champions Cup, Challenge Cup, and ultimately represent the Springboks as well.
It's a tournament they did last win in 2012. Just you talk about the home crowd, packed out Boks Gymnasium, not Porus. Just tell us about the nerves maybe that the players would have gone through before Saturday's match, playing in front of the home crowd, but also how special it is to know that your first possibly elite match at international level is being played at home.
Yeah, absolutely. There was something that I made sure I asked many of the players, the coaches, as to how they were handling it. And I think it was a discussion that the coach had with all the players to make sure that they understand the enormity of the occasion, but at the same time enjoy it. I think we need to remember that these young boys are are, just less than 20 years old, and they're actually coming to make their way out. So I'm going to ask Mario Pedro just to show you as the team exits ahead of the match. We're just standing outside the change rooms. But with that, to that point, Kulini, they are young boys. Yes, want to be professional rugby players. But with that being said, it's important that they strike the balance. Coach Bafana had spoken about the fact that these boys, they enjoy making jokes. They enjoy, just some good music, and I think that in itself is important. We see the Italians also walking out at the same time, Clooney, as they make their way to the Paul Gymnasium field, and that emotion right now, looking at your opponents, knowing what you have to do as a player on this field when you run onto that field is what's vitally important. And I think hopefully the young junior Bok team have what it takes in order to just go out there and do what is required, do what Coach Pofana and his assistant management team have prepared for them, and hopefully they can come out on top against this Italian team.
Right, Justin, we will leave it there, let you get to where you need to be ahead of the start of that match. The Junior Boks are taking on Italy in their second match of the World Rugby Under 20 Championship. It does kick off in a few minutes' time at 4 p.m.